As a developer, I always consider myself pretty average when it comes to productivity. But everything changed when I started using a simple practice. A simple practice that supercharged my efficiency in just 7 days. And I'm here to share with you the same practice because I strongly believe if it can work for me, it will work for you. It's definitely worth giving a shot. And trust me, if you use this practice, you will not regret. This simple practice is known as after technique. By adopting the after technique, my productivity didn't boost, but it skyrocketed. I was suddenly just not doing more, but doing with a better way and with a focus. And remember, this is not just about working harder, but smart. So let's get started and transform your coding journey. Before we dive in, let me highlight our in the after technique. It is most common mistake I have seen, especially with beginners. Let's break it down step by step. So the A stands for atomic commits. If you want to take just one thing from this video, just take this thing, atomic commits. It simply means each commit you do, just do for one specific thing. Think of like this, if you are committing, you are simply saying, here is the change I did. Let me show you with an example. Imagine you are adding a new HTML file for a user profile. So the commit will be like this, add initial user profile HTML page. Next, you might add form validation using JavaScript. So the commit will be like this, implement form validation for user profile. Hope you are getting the idea. It keeps everything simple and clear. And whenever you look the commit history, you can very easily tell this commit is for what change. This makes it super easy to understand and your work always stay clean. F stands for frequent commit. When I was a new coder, I used to wait until my entire story is not complete. And then I tried to commit, but not anymore. Now, if one simple change compile and run, it gets committed. This shift has significantly reduced my conflicts and my work is more manageable and more productive. Did you notice something in my previous example? First, I add a commit for initial user profile HTML page. I did not wait for the validation part. I just commit it. And then I commit form validation. Did you notice? If I have a piece of code and it's working properly, I try to commit. And T is for testing your code before you push it. This might look like common sense, but it's really important. If you do this, you can avoid lots of problems later on. It's super valuable. When you test your code, you're looking for little mistakes that might have slipped when you were writing your code. It's like proofreading your work. So by testing before pushing, you're making sure everything is right. This helps not just you, but the whole team because it keeps the project running smoothly without interruption. On the other hand, if you try to push broken code, you might block the entire team. So never do it. It's a small habit, but make you a star team player. E stands for enforce standards. Now standards might seem like a bunch of rules that makes things more complicated, but they are actually super helpful. You can enforce any standards for your team, but I prefer minimum two. One is git ignore file and second is a message with a commit. The first is git ignore file. It is a simple list that tells Git to ignore certain files that we don't want to mix up with our project's code, like temporary files, build files, or user personal settings. It keeps the project and project history clean. And the second practice which I always follow is commit message. There should be a commit message with every commit. Why? Because it tells you a story, why you commit something. Making those notes clear and helpful is like having a breadcrumb trail for yourself and others. It helps everyone in your team to understand why you made the first change and what is for. A clear commit message helps everyone in that team to understand what this change is and they can understand by looking at the commit message. So there's no need to dig in the code. Enforcing standard is all about adding these little things that can add more value to your code. Finally, let's talk about R in the after technique. And R stands for refactoring should not be mixed with new features. What does that mean? Well, refactoring is when you tidy up your code. It's like cleaning up your room so you can find things easily. Refactoring does not change what your code does. It just makes it neater and more organized. Refactoring is important, but you should keep it separate from the adding new feature. Imagine you are cleaning your room and adding furniture at the same time. Cleaning is about refactoring and adding new stuff is like adding new features. It helps you and everyone else understand what changes you have made and why. It is a simple move, but it can make a big difference in keeping your code clear and easy to handle. Remember, quality code is not a race. It's about consistent and thoughtful progress. Interested in diving deeper in clean code practices? Here is the link to that video. Watch it and learn about clean code. And thanks for watching.